Hi, I just wanted to say thanks for clicking on my video if you decide to reply to this one. I just wanted to talk about my picture, and I actually highlighted a couple points in Takaki's author's notes that I think are really relevant to my picture. I decided just to draw a picture and not do any kind of collage, and I decided to keep it black and white and simple because I would say that best describes me as a person is mainly just very simple. I basically only wear like gray and white because I like to blend in and I like to kind of see things from an outside perspective. I don't really like to belong in like inner circles, if that makes any sense. So I like to view things from like a wider perspective. And just a quick rundown of my picture. It would be me with a cross necklace. I have a couple books. I'm holding a couple books, and then I'm wearing a dirndl, and that is what the women wear in Germany or Austria in as like the traditional kind of like you see them sometimes in Oktoberfest and stuff like that. And I included that for a specific reason, but then I'm holding a leaf blower, and I know that's kind of strange, but it ties into one of the points that Takaki brings up. And so the first point that I would have to say that ties into the books is that he says that his parents were determined to send him to college and for him to be college educated because his parents never were. And so I would have to say that my parents weren't college educated. My dad runs a business and he's not college educated at all. My siblings haven't gone to college. I have an uncle that went to college, but when he was in his 40s. So I'm really the first one in my family to go to college, and it's been a really great opportunity because I've been funding it myself and through like scholarships and stuff. So I think it's like really important that I've had the chance to go to college, and it helps me experience, and I'm like really grateful because not a lot of people get to go to college, and so I'm really grateful that I get to go, and it helps me learn about that aspect and helps me learn like what other people don't get to experience. So I kind of, if I ever read anything about how certain like third world countries don't get education or whatever, like I have something to compare it to that like I get to experience this, and it's really something that's awesome, I guess you could say, to like be able to say I get to do that. The second thing would be my cross necklace, and I know he briefly touches on Christianity, and I don't mean Christianity as a whole. That was just an easy symbol for me to use. I would say that being a Christian, it instills in me some really great like morals, and you don't have to be a Christian to have good morals, but I think it instills in me like I feel inside that I should be kind to everyone, and I want to treat everyone equally. And I think that's really important when understanding and being empathetic to people of other cultures and communities, so that you don't judge based on what you see. It's more like who the person is on the inside, which he was talking about when he said his wife's parents wouldn't accept him. I think it's because it's because they were only looking on the outside of his coloring, even though he was American. He was born in Hawaii. I think that's something really important to note. So the cross on my necklace symbolizes that, and kind of symbolizes where I get my values and where I get my kind of drive to treat everyone equally, be kind and respectful. Another thing he notes is he says, after school I went there, meaning the Chinese restaurant that his parents had, to help wash pots and cut vegetables. And I work at a family business, and so that's where the like leaf blower comes into play, because I sell leaf blowers and like trimmers, and I sell yard equipment for a living. And it's at a family business, and it's been running for almost 100 years. It's really great, and I think that helps me understand, and kind of like from a cultural perspective, not a lot of kids work at family businesses, so they don't really understand the kind of like how hard it is to work with your family and to be like feel that responsibility to really like I don't know how to explain it. Like you're the face of the company, so you have a lot of responsibility to like represent the company and I think that's something really good that Takaki did because it instills a certain kind of work ethic in you. And so then he talks about going to school so far away in Ohio when he was born in Hawaii. And that also kind of goes hand in hand with the books, is that I just spent 4 months in Austria, and that's where the dirndl comes into play because that's a traditional dress that they use around like Oktoberfest and stuff. And so like living in a completely different country where they have completely different customs and holidays and everything, it really like opens your eyes to how different the world is and how people act, and really like they're not that different from people in America. They really aren't. Everyone is very kind. There's no stereotypes that I went over thinking about. I just kind of went. And while it was hard being away from my family, and I can relate to that, to Kaki, like writing to his family and stuff, I think it's very important to experience other cultures firsthand instead of just reading about them, because if you just read about them, you don't really get the full idea of what it's like. And so living like an Austrian, being an American, living like an Austrian and learning German and learning how to do certain things over there, it's really interesting. And I think it's really great to kind of give me a better understanding and giving me a better idea to work with when it comes to approaching the world and approaching different cultures. And I 100% agree that we have to, what he says, and I think what was in our prompt or whatever, is that we don't only have to comprehend the world, but to change it. So, but in order to change the world, you have to comprehend it. So, I think that's really great. And I think that the symbols that I pointed out help me to comprehend the world and help, they kind of like are tools to me to be able to, experience the world and kind of soak it all in first before I make any judgments or before I come to any conclusions, so that I'm not closed-minded, I guess. So yeah, that's it. That's all that I wanted to talk about. Those are my symbols are that dirndl, the leaf blower, and the cross necklace, and then those books. And I think those are like probably 4 solid key things that I identify with, that I don't identify with anything culturally, even though my family roots are like obviously in Germany. I have a grandma that was born in Hungary, but I don't necessarily identify with that because I didn't experience that. So I think it's really important you experience the culture before you identify with it, because if you have no clue what it's like, then you can't truthfully identify with it, if that makes any sense. So those are things that I've experienced firsthand. Those are things that I can concretely say that have helped me be empathetic in the world and really see other cultures for what they are and not judge and be a little bit more open-minded. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you.